Hey, this is Gracie and Kunjay. Yeah, this is the newest Next Up in Jorvik. It came out like on the 2nd of October, so a week ago exactly. Um, yeah. And today is like exactly 3 months until my birthday. I'm not going to celebrate or anything, I just think it's cool. And whenever it's like the 9th, I'm like, oh, it is exactly that amount until my birthday. And I joke about that, like, oh, it's my half birthday, oh, it's my today, three-quarter birthday, but it's like, I'm just having fun with it, it's not serious. But anyways, Halloween has come to Jorvik. No, actually, it has. It came to Jorvik yesterday, because the first one has already started. So, yeah. Um, a little, like, three-quarter of a year birthday present for me. I'm sorry, I'm having too much fun with this. Um, But yeah, and then I also like ordered some groceries earlier today. Um, I've got a bunch of stuff. It's gonna be delivered on Saturday and Thursday today. But yeah, um, yeah, yeah. And then there was a ladybug inside today, so I rescued that. Just put it outside. Um, yeah, yeah. Moved into my new apartment a week and a half ago. Did that like on the Sunday after I posted the last Next Up. So yeah, this one like comes out like about like 2 weeks after the old one, but and I was thinking like should I wait for a bit longer to post this? I don't know if I'm gonna post it today or if I'm gonna post it some other day, but still, I might like post it next week or something, just so it's like a bit more spaced out. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, and I've just been like doing a bit of stuff since I moved in. Gotta do some more, but like yeah. Um just gonna like relax for a bit and do some videos. So yeah. That I'm gonna well like I'm doing like a little bit here and there, but like mm-hmm. Um and it's important to take breaks, so I'm also doing that for a bit. Yeah, and then I have some videos to make. I've just made like some videos today, so I might not make any more after this one, we'll see. But yeah, I'm getting pretty hungry, so I'm thinking like I'll probably do this one and then wait for a bit with making more videos, but oh well. Oh well. Oh well. So yeah. But anyways, let's get started with the next up in Jorvik, shall we? The spookiest time of year is here. I love that. Like fall is my favorite season, and Halloween is like my favorite like event of the year. Um, I don't really care for like other types of events that much. Like, I mean, there's no events really in the summer, um, right? Are there any events in the summer? Not that I know of. Not that is celebrated like where I live or anything, or at least not like that I have really ever celebrated. So summer is really like, well, I mean, there are two birthdays in my family in the summer. Um, but like apart from that, it's like not really anything. The spring, like that's Easter, and it is um, the national day here. Is there anything more? Well, I think Mother's Day is also like, isn't that like in February here? I think so. I know it might be different for like different countries, but like I think it is like the day before or well, the Sunday around Valentine's, I think is Mother's Day here. Um, and I think Father's Day is maybe like in November or some, I don't know. The winter is like Also 2 birthdays, mine, obviously, like, I mean, 3 months until my birthday. We're in the we're in the fall. Typically then, like going to be in the winter. Yeah. And then we have New Year's and Yule, which I don't really care so much for these things, but it's like I've always celebrated. So there's a lot happening, like from the first birthday in December until my birthday, because it's like Yule and New Year's in between of that, and it's like less than a month in total for like from the first to the last. Um, yeah. um, and then for the fall, like it is Halloween, which I don't really celebrate Halloween anymore. It was more so when I was like in school, but still, we could get back to that a little bit more, but the other things that are in the fall, well, I mean, it's my grandma's birthday on the 2nd of September, so at the start, my bunny's birthday was on the 1st, but he passed away. Um, so yeah, 6 years ago, I think it is, right? On like the last time I posted, like the last video I posted, that date. That's why I posted it on that date. But yeah, so like the fall starts with like, well, used to be my buddy's birthday, but now my grandma's because he passed away. And we did celebrate on her birthday this year. So yeah, and she turned 101. So yeah, still going. She's the only one of my grandparents that are still going, and she was like the one who was also born the first. So because I think my grandpa was born like a couple years after her, on the same side. And then the other two, I think, were born like in the 30s, some maybe late 20s, early 30s, something like that. So, yeah. The one who's the oldest lived the longest. And I'm a little unsure if my maternal grandpa was the youngest or like if my maternal grandma was the youngest, but he passed away the first and was one of the youngest, so that's like something. Well, the ladies lived for the longest though, so well, I mean, I don't know about longest in years, honestly. Well, they outlived their partners, but um, as for like if my grandpa, paternal grandpa, or maternal grandma, which of those two like um turned like the most years, like because like he was born before her but passed away the year before. So, but I think that she like didn't get as old because she was born, like more years after than one. So I think that she got like, didn't get as old as my grandpa, but still like, she lived for one more year. Well, of my lifetime anyways. So yeah. But still, like they both like outlive their partners, the ladies, but like if that's how it typically is. That the women live longer, I don't know. Um, will be exciting to see like what genes, so what living genes I've gotten because like either I will be like either I will like live as long as my grandma and be like I mean probably then like be more than 100 and not just like 101 or whatever but like because isn't it so that like younger generations just live for longer kind of that like if your grandparents like turn 90, you will be like 100 or even more. Yeah, I think that's how it goes. So, but yeah, all of them got like, fairly old, I would say. Like one passed away fairly early from health issues, but like, technology has advanced fairly a lot, so fairly a lot, that's some phrasing. But you get what I mean, like technology, like medicine has gotten very far, so people who like, passed away whenever he did. I think it was maybe in 71. I think that makes sense. Like in the early 70s, anyways, people who passed away then, like if they would have like lived today, they would have lived for longer. with the same issues because medicine has gotten further, technology has gotten further, we have advanced, you know? So even if I had his genes, and that would be health issues, you know? Because he didn't pass away from old age, um, then, you know, like, technology would make me live longer than he did. And my uncle did actually have some of the same health issues, I believe, and he lived for a while with, you know, like health issues because of like, you know, medicine advancing. So, yeah, and I mean, like, I don't know exactly how old my uncle got, but like, passed away like a couple years ago, like 2, 3 maybe. And he was much older than my mom, so I think he got to at least like his 70s, and maybe my grandpa got to like his 40s, 50s. I don't know. Really don't know, but yeah. Um, Something like that, I would say. So it's like, you know, if you get like, you know, maybe 20, 25, 30 years more, um, so that you can live until like, you know, your 70s these days, um, then like, you know, just imagine how long you could live with those health issues, you know, like when I get to like 50 or 40 or whatever, you know, in like 20, 25 years more. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, just imagine how far we will get, you know, in the future. So I'm not really worried about dying young. I'm worried about dying old. I'm joking, I'm joking. But like, yeah, I mean like it's like I'm immortal. I'm convinced that like my grandma is immortal and therefore I'm too. I'm joking, I'm not. But it's like oh, I feel like I'm gonna be very old, so like me making Star Stable videos in like 21, 25. Ooh! I will if it's still available and if I'm still alive. I'm not gonna promise that, but like, wouldn't that be fun, you know? Wouldn't that be fun? And then Halloween, like, yeah, I did celebrate more, like, you know, when I was in school. And yeah, maybe I should read this first and then go over that because I have a lot I want to say about Halloween. Like, I just love Halloween. Always have, always will. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do a bit of a Halloween story time for the people interested at the end of this video. Um, but first I'm gonna go through this because like I don't want to like be yapping too much first, in case people just want to get this and don't care about me or my life or Halloween and what I think about it and all. I'm about to like you know spill my heart out. That's not what it's called, I think, but oh well. So like, yeah, you better listen. But yeah, okay, let's do this for the people who don't care about me and just want to get the news. Um, hmm And then I'll like talk more about Halloween at the end for the ones who care. Gallopers, warm welcome. I would imagine it to be cold, but okay. October 8th. Gallopers ghostly keep is back. Karen has upped her cauldron skills with a spell book. Igor returns with his questionable pet practices. Yeah. And other fan favorite activities are available throughout the keep. There have also been sightings of two horses that seem a little off. The word of mouth is something about fangs and patchwork. I've already seen like the teasers of these, like, well, actually on the like opening screen for Star Stable, like when you log in, there's like a picture, yeah. And I think it is like Frankenstein style horse and well, I mean vampire horse bundles. Pretty self-explanatory, I would say. So yeah, so Frankenstein and Dracula, yeah, pretty much. I like that. That is so Halloween. Like so many years I've done like you know vampire as my costume, so this is right up my alley. Hopefully they are friendlier than they look. Excuse me? Are you telling me that they don't look friendly? I'm getting offended. No, I'm not. But like, come on. Like, I would say that like most monsters, like in stories and stuff, are just like you know people being scared of difference a lot of the times. I watched this like thing. I don't know who was posting it. Maybe Game Theory about like zombies because they were talking about like I think it is a movie called well, it is a franchise, and like the older one, I think is like 28 Days Later, and then the newer one is 28 Years Later. And it was talking about like why these zombies are so much more scary than other zombies. Um, but it was also mentioning that like monsters, like throughout time, have been like things that people have been scared of. So like kind of like influenced by our fears. Um, and well, I mean, like what is one of the things that like people and also other creatures are very scared of? Difference. No, no, literally. Like if a bird in nature like is more colorful than the other birds, different than the other birds, a lot of the times the birds will attack that bird because it's like difference is scary. Um, so yeah, and humans are a little bit like that too. Sure, we are maybe like, a bit more intelligent to not like exactly be like pecking people to death. Can we do that, a human? We're not birds. But you get what I mean. So like, but still, like humans don't quite like differences so much. At least a lot of people don't. Which is like, why there is bigotry, why there is hate in the world, because people are so like scared of differences. It's like, and like, sure, like back in the day, it would make sense to be a little scared of differences because it's like, well, this is a complete stranger. Do they want to attack me? Do they want to kill me? Are they a threat to me? You know? Or like, this person is acting different. Like, are they sick? Could they get me sick? But these days, it's just like, eh, eh, you're okay. You're okay. For the most part, anyways. So, so it's like, sure, some of it is like instinctual, where like we're just scared of things that we don't really need to be scared of anymore. Like being scared of the dark, like these days when we're like sitting in a house, like we're safe, but like it's dark. It's not as scary anymore, but like back in the day, it could be like, well, there could be threats in the dark. But yeah, and I kind of feel like, all of these monsters, like vampires, Frankenstein, werewolves, all of these things, like kind of like ancient monsters, like not ancient necessarily, but you get what I mean, like monsters that have been like, tales for like throughout history and all. I feel like it is probably like, more so just, well, yeah, I mean, just people being different, and not necessarily like anything to actually be scared of. So I think it is more so people just getting inside of their heads and being like convinced that something is bad, something is out to get them. Um, and then, like you scare yourself and everyone else into thinking that there is a like an actual threat when there isn't. And I feel like that's something we as humans have done, like, throughout history so much. Like, we have, like, been treating groups of people horribly, and some of them, it seems like, we're just scared. Um, so, yeah. Not that there, like, usually is anything to be scared of, it's just like, you convince yourself that this is a threat when it isn't. And I'm not saying you as in you listening to this, I'm saying like you as in the people who did it. So yeah. So yeah, so I kind of feel like a lot of the times like the monsters have just been like, people who were different. Um so yeah. And I mean like, we do have a history of treating people who are different from the majority horribly. And still to this day, like you can get treated so horribly if you were just a little different from like, most people. Um, so yeah, so like I don't quite like the, like hopefully they're friendlier than they look because it's like, like because it's just like maybe, like don't judge a book by its cover. Maybe don't judge people by what they look like or what they seem like because even if you are thinking like, oh, there's something off here, there's something that like, is different here. There's something that I find to be like a bit like, uh, maybe there's just actually nothing, you know, maybe they're just not like you. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, give people a chance. Sometimes people are just different from you, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a threat, really. Sure, some people are a threat to you, but like, people just being different from you isn't really like, you know, necessarily a bad thing. So yeah. So, you know, like, be kinder to people. Treat them well, you know? And sure, like, if someone does something bad, like, sure, they should be, like, you know, punished for that. And we should be, like, you know, maybe a little, like, you know, cautious, but, you know, treat people well, regardless. And well, realize that people are different, and sometimes what you may see as a threat might just be, like, a bit more color on the feathers, you know? A little bit more of a colorful bird. Not really anything dangerous or anything bad, just a splash of color. And yeah, I don't mean it literally as like, oh, humans are a little bit more colorful. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. But it's just like, you get what I mean. Like, just because it's different from you doesn't mean it's a bad thing or dangerous or anything. Because, like, well, people being different from you also means that you're different from them. So we're all really different. Just for some, you know, like, we're maybe different from more people than others, yeah. Um, so yeah. But anyways, and speaking of stories, this week Linda is sharing the first chapter of Galloper's tragic backstory. Same as last year? I think so. But oh well, oh well, oh well. But yeah, so I'm sure that those sources are very friendly and very wholesome and lovely. Um, so yeah, don't judge a book or a horse by its cover. Get to know them, people too. Stories continue. October 15th. The cauldron continues to spew rewards, and new recipes arrive in the spellbook. The ghastly stories of the history of Galloper Thompson himself also continue. As the second it says chapter, not character. Chapter is now available to be discovered. The keep is now also filling up with magical horses from previous years. And I also kind of feel like the story of Galloper Thompson is also like, you know, someone being different and then being treated horribly for it. Like, he was literally beheaded. So, I mean, yeah, history has it, and still to this day, I kind of feel like we still, like, you know, don't really take too kindly to differences, you know, and people being different from, like, the majority. Um, like, what did Galloper Thompson really do wrong, you know? Like, he was so loyal. Was it to Jon Jarl? I think so. Like, he was so loyal. He did everything he was, like, told to do. And what happened? He died. You know? So, like, I'm rooting for Galvin Thompson here. Like, wrongfully attacked just for being different. No, but, like, wasn't he, like, you know, some kind of, like, excellent, like, you know, fighter or something? And people were like, oh, nobody can do that. You must be, like, you know, Dancing with the Devil. That's not what it's called, but you know what? Sure, 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 sure. We'll do that. Dancing with the Devil. So yeah, so it's like, you know, you're different. I don't like that. Well, then I don't like you for not liking that. So yeah, so I feel like, you know, he's just like, you know, misunderstood. Um, just, you know, different, and people didn't like that. So yeah, so like, I mean, justice for Galloper Thompson. Galloper's final piece, October 22nd. Galloper's tragic story comes to its conclusion as Linda continues to investigate the visions she is getting. Can the Headless Horseman find peace at last? I hope so, he deserves it. Back in the reality of Jorvik, 3 new coat variations have arrived, and while their coats might be scarily beautiful, they're permanent additions. We love permanent additions, because they, like, never go away. Um, we love them forever. Because, you know, like, I'm planning to stay here forever. I need something to do, you know. I'm joking. Um, but yeah, so I think that that is, like, you know, I hope that that is, like, you know, a new part, because, like, we've been waiting for years to get something new on this, and I'm ready to finally, you know, like, get the little final piece, get some actual new stuff with the story. So I hope that is it. And I don't quite remember it being, like, 3 parts before either, so I think that is it, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So yes, it seems like, you know, we're getting then, you know, like a quest, a new quest, for that week. But yeah, concluding the horrors, October 29th, so almost at the end. It's the final week of the Halloween festival, and the spellbook has mustered up the last 2 spells for items in the cauldron. I don't quite understand, like, what they mean by mustered up the last 2 spells. Like, is it so that, like, you can only make one type of item, like, you know, with the different spells, or I don't know. It would be kind of nice if it is, like, you know, that, like, this specific spell makes one of these specific items, or one specific item or something, because that would make it easier to then actually get, you know, like, the items that you need, because then you just, like, you know, keep doing that spell until you have all of the items in that, like, you know, that spell can make, and you don't have to just, like, be getting the same item over and over that you've gotten, like, you know, 100 times already. So that would be nice, actually, if that's what they mean by it, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. The register needs help from some lively faces, okay, to bring back the wandering spirits who left the prison tower. Why do we keep them in prison, though? Like, why don't just let them be free? Free the spirits! And meanwhile, in Moreland, the bazaar is setting up for a week of horse sales. Yeah, I feel like the bazaar is here too often. And I know that there are different breeds each time and all, and I get, like, you know, it's a discount, so that's nice, but I feel like it was more special when it was here less. And I feel like the bazaar should be a bit more special, because it's just, like, it gets too, like, you know, common. Um, you know? And I feel like a bazaar should maybe be a bit more rare. I don't know. Let me know your opinions about it in the comments down below. And I mean, I've never, like, well, I think I got some pigs at the bazaar once, but apart from that, like, I've not gotten anything from the bazaar, so I don't really, like, my opinion doesn't matter on the bazaar, really. But, yeah, and I can understand that, like, you know, if you're regularly getting horses, you know, like, then getting them on sale is a good thing, you know? Always nice to get things on sale. We love a good sale. But, I also just kind of feel like, you know, back in the day, you know, um, was like less bizarre and also felt more special when it was here. So I don't know if I'm just being nostalgic about it and feel like, you know, while it was here less back in the day, so I wanted it to be like that still. Or if it's just like, you know, but yeah, like, again, for me, it doesn't really matter too much if it's here every single day or every month or whatever. Um, so I should be the one to decide, like, you know, how often the bazaar should be here. But yeah, it just felt more special when it was rarer, you know, like back in the day when it was like maybe once a year or twice a year or something like that. It felt more special, and it was like, okay, I'm actually gonna check it out when it's here. Not gonna buy anything, but like I'm gonna check it out because like the bazaar hasn't been here for like a year or half a year or something. But no, it's like it's here every month. I don't really care, you know. But again, like I don't buy anything from the bazaar, so it doesn't really matter what I think about it. But then we have this little thing over here. Updates may be subject to change. Excuse me? Hello? I don't like that. I don't like that it's like, this might not be what happens. And I'm scared by that. So, good job, Star Stable, scaring me. It's Halloween. I love that. No, but like, seriously, like, Halloween should be scary, in my opinion. So, thank you for scaring me, Star Staple. This one is scary to me, because it's like, either it is that they don't quite know if they can do all of these things, which that sucks. I don't want that kind of scare. Or they're not wanting to tell us everything that they're planning to do. So maybe like either it is they're gonna like take something away because they may not be able to do all of it, or they're going to like add something extra. I hope they're adding something extra because extra is nice, less is not nice. Um, but yeah, and I mean like getting a like Halloween surprise, like yeah, please treat me for Halloween, please do. But I am scared that, like, maybe this quest is something that we're not getting because of this. Because, like, this is just like nothing really happens. Like, well, more spells in the spell book, the register, like that old thing, and the bazaar. Sure, we might not get the bazaar, that doesn't matter too much. But, like, I feel like these two are going to definitely happen. So, no changes there. Um, yeah, more recipes in the spell book. Like, I feel like that's going to happen anyways. The second chapter, like, I feel like that's gonna happen, and the magical horses, the first chapter, um, yeah, and the horses, I feel like they must already be here. So I feel like this one has happened already. I mean, it has, but like, I feel like all of this happened. I don't see why any of these wouldn't. This one, I also feel like all of that would happen. This one, I'm a little scared might be the subject to change. Yeah, like a maybe they can't do it. But I kind of feel like since they have put it in the next up here, they must be working on it. And sure, maybe they won't be able to like finish it for that week, and maybe it comes at the next one. But I feel like we're getting it. Just yeah, um, yeah. So I feel like we're getting all of this, and maybe it's like something more. Maybe the bazaar comes like the week after. Um, So I feel like the subject to change is probably just like maybe the bazaar doesn't come in October, but it's November instead. Maybe like this comes a week later, or like maybe they have to swap it around a bit. Um, but yeah, I feel like we're gonna get all of these things. So and subject to change could mean that we're getting something else as well. Like maybe we're getting some extra. I love extra, so that would be nice. But yeah. But anyways, so mhm. This is what is happening for this month, for October. Yeah. And sure, like, the Halloween updates, like, sure, we're getting something new, like, but most of it is just, like, old stuff. So, it's not as exciting to do these things, but at the same time, I love Halloween so much, so it's like, no, not much new stuff to do, but, like, I love Halloween, so it's fine. But yeah, celebrating Halloween throughout the years. And let's just start at the beginning, shall we? Because Halloween wasn't really like a thing where I live when I was a kid, or like, well, oh yeah, let's just start at the beginning. So Halloween wasn't really a thing where I live when I was young. So my brother that was born in 1997, me born in 2001, he didn't celebrate Halloween, I think, ever as a kid. He has like gone to some Halloween parties as an adult and all, but maybe as a teen as well, but like not like as a little kid, I believe. I don't remember him ever like celebrating Halloween. But I don't know how like I stumbled upon Halloween, and I don't know what year was the first year for me to celebrate, but like, oh, how old is that person? Because like one of my friends has a sibling. That sibling was like born but pretty young. And I don't remember if that like was her first time celebrating or if like first grade was her first time celebrating. Because I had a Halloween party in first grade, inviting like everyone. Um, so yeah, and I think that was kind of the start of Halloween, unless like me and my friend did like celebrate the year before. But I'm not quite sure. So yeah, because like how old is that person? They were in first grade, I think, when we were in fourth grade. So, oof, how old does that make a person? Um, well, the year that I would have turned 10, they would have turned. Oh, sorry. The year I would have turned. Yeah, the year I would have turned 10, they would have turned 7, I think. Wouldn't it be? We have the same birthday, just like years apart. So, well, yeah, when I started first grade. Um, well, yeah, so 7 and 10, right? Because like when I was in fourth grade, that's when I turned. No, sorry, that's fifth grade. That's when we were like, yeah, right. Because like at my school, like first graders would have like fifth graders as their like mentor, and we were mentors for like that year. So when we were in fifth grade, so when I turned 11, that kid would have turned 7. Because like where I live, you start school when the year you turn 6. So then like for that first school year, having your birthday like at the beginning of the year, um, you would turn 7 in first grade. Yeah. So then when I was turning 11, that kid would turn 7. So then 6 and 10. So then when we were 6, with 4 years younger exactly, um, that kid would have been 2 when we were 6, and like can kids walk when they're 2? I guess probably. So it wouldn't have been impossible, I guess, for it to be that year. So yeah, so either I started celebrating Halloween and doing like trick or treating when I was a kid then, but yeah, at then 6 or 7, right? Or well, 5 or 6 actually, because it was like before my birthday. Um, so that means that like either that kid would have been then almost 2 or almost 3. Well, not almost 3 because we didn't actually like celebrate together the year I had my party, but can kids walk when they're like almost 2? I don't know. And sure, we could have celebrated like even kind of like without that kid as well, honestly, but like I don't think we did that much for the first year. So I think maybe we started like the last year of kindergarten. And why it couldn't have been before that was because I didn't like go to that kindergarten with that person before the last year because I went to one kindergarten first. And then I changed to another one for the last year because there was no one born in the same year as me. Um, so yeah. And my parents tried to make me like start a year earlier, but the day that like someone from school was gonna see if I was mature enough to start, I was like playing with a younger boy. Um, so yeah, they deemed me not mature enough. So like I exceeded with all of the academic stuff, but just that day I played with like one of the younger boys in kindergarten. Um, so then yeah, I wasn't mature enough apparently. Like I would just play with anyone regardless of like age and gender. Um, like anyone who would play with me in kindergarten. So, and I mean like I wouldn't mind that like after either, but it's just like in school it was more so just like you have like your friend or friends and you play with them. You don't really. I mean, sure, sometimes we would be playing with like more people, but yeah. Um, But still, but like you would be more so like you would be hanging out with the people from your year at least. When we got to school, like sure, sometimes we would be playing like tag with our mentees, me and my friends, because they wanted to. Um, I don't know if mentee is the correct word, but like the kids we were mentoring. Sometimes we would be doing that for recess, but yeah. But for the most part, it would be like, you would be hanging out with the people of your year. But for kindergarten, like, I would just be playing with anyone who would play with me, regardless of age, gender, and everything. Um, so yeah. So yeah. So it was kind of just like random that I was playing with a younger boy that day. Like, the next day I could have been playing with like an older girl or whatever, or the day before I could have played with like, not that I think there were any. Well, not that there were any openly non-binary kids, but like a non-binary kid my age, well, there were no people. There were no people born in the same year as me in that kindergarten, so that would have been impossible. Um, there were no openly non-binary people either, so sure, they could be like, non-binary, just not know yet, not be open, but uh-huh. But you get what I mean, like it could have been any age, any gender. It was just random that it was a younger boy that day, so. But yeah. Oh well, I mean, that one that one thing made like, me then go to a different kindergarten for the last year. Um and then, go to school a year later and everything. So that one day of me playing, like that one moment of me playing with a younger boy actually kind of like, changed my future. Because if I'd played with like, an older kid instead, and there were no people my age, so must have been older, younger, yeah. But yeah, so if I had played with one of the older kids, then maybe I would have started school a year earlier. That would have changed my story so much. Oh my gosh. Just like something as random as me like playing with this one kid instead of this other kid. And like everything could have been different. That's insane. But yeah, so like, and it was a person that I befriended in the last year of kindergarten that, um, like I've seen pictures so many years ago, but still, of us like dressed up for Halloween and their kid sibling, like their younger sibling, um, also in the picture. So it's like it's not that I remember it; it's just I've seen the pictures and like that could have made sense for it to be like the last year of kindergarten. Um, no. So I feel like maybe, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, so it either started, like the year before school or in first grade. A little unsure about that, but oh well. And before that, like Halloween kind of wasn't a thing. And I've loved Halloween ever since. I don't know how I like learned about it or anything, but just yeah, I've been obsessed ever since. um, and I don't know if like uh, any of the other like um, years at my school were celebrating Halloween at that point, or if we kind of started a bit, or if I kind of started a bit. I don't know. But I know that, like, at least one of the younger siblings of one of my other friends, um, their class were having, like, Halloween parties and stuff. Um, but yeah, I don't quite know about all of the others because, like, a bunch of kids can't remember them all, didn't know them all either. So yeah, maybe I started Halloween like, at my school. That's how much I love it. But yeah, and then like, um, as like a kid, because like the school that I went to, like that first one is like first till seventh grade. And then it would be like in first grade I had a Halloween party with like where I invited everyone. And then I think it was like smaller parties after that with just like my friends. So not everyone anymore. And it would be like, we would go trick or treating and we would maybe like, hang out at one of our places, maybe watch a movie, something like that. Um, And it would kind of be that for like 8th till 10th grade, which is like next school as well. But then we were like a group of like 12-ish people. So, mm-hmm. And we wouldn't be trick-or-treating at that point, but like we would be trick-or-treating like before. And sometimes some other people would maybe be having like a Halloween party. I don't remember what grade it was, but like, one year like another kid had a party. I don't remember that or anything, but I like have seen the picture on Facebook like, a billion years ago. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so like it was a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Like I think they were only two Halloween parties with like everyone. Um, but then there were like, a bunch of things with just me and one or two, maybe three or so friends. So some friends. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then like, when I got to the next school, which is like, well, it is kind of like, 11th till 13th grade, but it's like, but it's not like as kind of like, it's not kind of the same as the other ones because that's when you kind of like get to choose schools a bit more yourself and all. And some people might start at one school and like go there for a year or two and then change to another one and go there for like a couple years or something. Some people might take school over like more or less years than 3. So it's like that's when it starts to be like less the same for people after 10th grade. Um, but then every single year that I went to that school, there was like kind of like a bit of a Halloween party at my school where they had like a costume competition. I got like first or second place each year, I think, and like a quiz. I think that was about it, honestly. It wasn't really so much, but yeah, that was fun. Um, and that's kind of like the last time I celebrated Halloween, really. Like, I'm not thinking that I'll do anything for Halloween this year or anything. Like, maybe I'll watch a movie, maybe I'll have some snacks, like, but it's like, kind of like, being an adult means that you just, like, if you want to have snacks, you'll have snacks. So it's like, you get what I mean? If I want candy, I'll just buy some candy. Yeah. Um, so yeah, maybe I'll watch, like, a Halloween movie or something. I've done that for a couple of years, like when I lived alone, last time, where I would, like, watch some Halloween movies, and that would be like kind of it. Sure, when I still was in school, like I would also be um, dressing up for like the Halloween celebration at my school, but yeah. I'd also dressed up once for school in like, I don't know if it was 8th or 9th grade, but I think it was one of those two. Could have been 10th grade, but I think it was like 8th or 9th, so yeah. Um, yeah, 8, 9, or 10th. I don't quite remember. Don't think it was 8, honestly. But yeah, so I dressed up for Halloween at school then. I just like had a meeting at school, I think, that day. And that was it. So, yeah, so I didn't really like have anything. That's why I dressed up for it. And also, I was gonna then, maybe I had like a little bit of school as well, like a little bit of schoolwork, but I think I was just like in a room by myself that day to do schoolwork. So I wasn't like in class that day or anything. That's why I dressed up. And also, I think I was just like right after going to my friend's place for the Halloween party. So, but yeah. And I mean, like as a kid, I would like buy costumes for the most part. Not like a new costume each year, but like I wouldn't be like making much. I tried to like sew a costume once, but it's like I can sew by hand, but I'm not the best at it, so it didn't turn out too well. Um, and then it was also kind of too cold to wear it even, so yeah, yeah. if we're like going out trick-or-treating because it gets cold here. Um, yeah, and then like, from what year? I don't remember. I don't know if it was like 8th, ninth, or 10th grade. I don't know, what was that weird? No, I think it was. I don't quite remember. Like I've done some like years of like some Halloween makeup, different types. But then like I think it was 10th grade then maybe, right? That I had that meeting and stuff. I think it must have been. I did some like bruises and stuff, with makeup, eyeshadow. Yeah. Um. Mm-hmm. Turned out pretty well, I'd say. But yeah. So then I just did some bruises and some blood, fake blood. And I had like a bloody shirt and just some black pants. And I've kind of been doing that, like bloody shirt, black pants, ever since. Um, so yeah. And I've done like different types of makeup. Like one year I did like, um, I guess I was kind of doing zombie. I don't know. I don't know what I've been this last year. So I've just been like doing a bunch of blood. But one year for like, um, past 10th grade, I did like, white makeup all over my face, and then like black around my eyes, and then a bunch of blood. Why I remember this is because I was like trying to open my phone with like the like face recognition, forgetting that I had makeup all over my face, and it doesn't work then. Um, yeah. Someone asked if I was sick too, so that's fun. Uh, because I was like taking the elevator with like an older lady, and she was like, "Are you sick?" I was like, no, I'm just wearing like makeup for Halloween, or I think like for a costume party. I said like or whatever, but yeah, that was fun. Then I've had so many people like take pictures of me, like um, yeah, like off to 10th grade with my costumes. Some asked if they could take a picture with me or of me, but like some were just sneaking pictures, and that's. I mean, ask at least. It's so awkward when people like are so obviously taking a picture of you, but they're trying to hide it. Yeah. But yeah, and like after like that year of just doing like full face of white and then black around the eyes and blood, I just did blood because like it takes 5 minutes to just cover yourself in fake blood. And I had like a shirt that I already had put blood on and let it dry and all, so it was just like a an old shirt from my dad, that I cut up a bit and everything, and put blood on. I think I had maybe like a sweater or t-shirt under, and then I had like some pants and some like black pants over that are like just like costume pants. I think they used to belong to a Scream costume. Yeah, yeah, but now I just use them as like my Halloween pants, or used to. I haven't dressed up for so long. And then like just covered myself in blood, just poured blood over my head and my face, and that was it. And some years I would do like one year I would do like these witches like nail thingies like claws, and I did like some furry gloves that I like cut holes in so that like the claws could stick out, and I did like a werewolf thing. Yeah, but yeah, for the most part I just did like blood in that shirt that was already made, um, and black pants. One year I did like some funny glasses where I like poked out one of the glasses because I couldn't see with the glass in. Um, they're like those fun glasses from like TGR, that are like I don't know what they're called, but like drunk glasses. I don't think they're called that, but yeah, something along those lines. Was fun. But yeah, so it's just like I mean, how long does it take to put on a shirt? Well, t-shirt, shirt, um, and two pairs of pants, because like I would be wearing some like actual pants under, but then I just wanted, like, in case there was some blood spill and everything, I just wanted to wear the black pants over. So yeah. So like, as long as it takes you to like put on two pairs of clothes, kind of 2 layers. That's how long it takes to put on the clothes, and then just like pour some blood over your face and all. Um, how long does that take? 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So yeah, so like so low effort, but still I got like first or second place each year for like the Halloween costume competition. One year, I think it was one year that I didn't get first place, but then someone had like stitched their own costume, and it was so like so fancy and everything, so they deserved the win. And apart from that, I think I got the first place each year, so yeah. Yeah, so it's like it's so low effort costume, because like all you do is like you have a pair of pants that like you're not so worried about. Um, you don't have to do 2 layers, but just like a pair that you're not worried about. And for me, that was like a pair that could fall down any minute, so that's why I had 2 layers. Um, probably do like a shirt underneath because you don't want the blood to stain your body. And then just do like an old light colored shirt, light pink, white, light blue, whatever, and just put some fake blood on it. Let it dry. It's important that it dries so you don't stain your skin. Yeah, and then just pour some fake blood all over your face and hair. Takes 5 minutes, like, sure, you need to do, like, some prep for the shirt, because it should be dry, or else it's gonna, like, stain everywhere. But, yeah, the blood on your face and in your hair, that will just take 5 minutes, so yeah. You don't need to do it in your hair, but, like, since I have short hair, I just felt like that was easier. So yeah. And yeah, wash it off after, and it might stain your skin if you have light skin. But that's why I did, like the full face of white makeup and black, because then it wouldn't stain my skin. But I couldn't be bothered some years, so yeah, yeah. But yeah, so it's just such a like low effort, takes no time to do costume, but yeah, like all you really need are some like clothes that you're not so afraid of ruining. So some kind of like old clothes or clothes that you don't like too much or whatever. Um, hmm You don't need to do like a shirt either, but just like any kind of clothes that you can, like stain with fake blood. And yeah, fake blood. That's all. So easy. So yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it for this video, and I have never seen it say like updates might may be subject to change before, so I don't quite like the sound of that, but I love Halloween, so it's okay. And I wonder who that is. It's like that someone's staring at us. Maybe it's that one. Kind of looks like that one, honestly. Oh well, I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and watch my other videos. Feel free to comment like your best Halloween costume, what you think about Halloween, how long and what your celebrations have been. Let me know all about the Halloween stuff. Of course, you can tell me other things if you want to as well. Leave any comments down in the comment section. Just be nice, please. Because that's always nice. Anyways, stay crazy. I hope to see you later. Bye.